Anti-cancer functional food, which is made of the components extracted from natural crude medicines, is expected to be developed for the first time in our country and be put on the market in this month, if early.
Preventing cancer, the side effect of cancer treatment or the disease of adult people. This food, called Hemohim and Hebaton, play the functions of preventing the damage of living bodies and promoting hematogenesis, immunity, and the regeneration of living tissues. In order to prove such effect, the cancer cells were injected into mice. In the left mouse, cancer cells continued to be transmitted, whereas in the right mouse, into which the functional food were injected, the effect for controlling cancer cells occurred. These two functional foods developed this time extracted their components from our traditional oriental medicines, including Angelica gigas Nakai. The method was to create the new complex materials by combining the nature crude medicines with biotechnology and radiation technology. Each component was separated, and so each effect was tested, and then in order to maximize each effect, the compounds were reorganized again. The previous natural physiology activation materials were limited in anti-cancer effect and were strong in toxicity, whereas the anti-cancer functional food enhanced their effect and eliminate their toxicity and synthesizing various components. This anti-cancer functional food is expected to be put on the market in this month in parallel with the clinical test in Korea Atomic Energy Hospital.
A new biochemical complex, which enhanced the immune power of cancer patients excellently, was developed by our domestic research team. According to the results of a clinical test, the recovery of leukocytes was enhanced, and the side effect of cancer treatment was eliminated largely.
This is Hemohim, the natural crude medicine material which was made by mixing natural crude medicines. Through executing the intensive analysis on about 30 types of natural crude medicines, Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute produced these natural crude materials by recompounding Angelica gigas Nakai, Rigat Jun Officinale Kitag, and Pioneer Jampoica Meabe at Takeda. These natural crude medicines include sulfur oxide, activating the immunity and promoting hematogenesis function. So this research team developed the immunity-increasing materials by decomposing these components. Because the investigated materials promote the functions of immunity and hematogenesis, and sulfur oxides prevent the damage of normal tissues by radiation or anti-cancer medicines. According to the result of clinical experiment in Korea Atomic Energy Hospital, the new natural crude medicine materials enhanced the immunity power of cancer patients largely. After 15 patients of breast cancer and uterine cancer each took the new natural crude medicine materials, all their recovery speed increased by 60%. Especially, this natural crude medicine complex could decrease the side effect according to cancer treatment, including inflammation or emesis. Though the cancer patients had suffered their that their strength decreased owing to their cancer treatment, about 80% of the patients taking this natural crude medicine complex answered that this was helpful for the increase of their strength. Because the patients taking Hemohim could decrease their mental powerlessness, many patients required more medicines. This research team plans to develop the new medicine through the second and third clinical experiments on these materials.
This medical center will communicate this strong wind of immunity, which is hitting hard our domestic medical field. The first program, Growing in the Dark, will examine the flow of our domestic immunity research.
The cancer is the typical disease which threat the life of contemporary people. The three major cancer treatment methods are surgical operation, anti-cancer medicine, and radiation treatment. However, in case of terminal cancers, the rate of perfect cure is only about 20%. Even though the up-to-date advanced contemporary medical science regards the cancer as an incurable disease, in order to solve the incurable disease of contemporary medical science, the new attempt to find their solutions in the reinforcement of immunity power is arousing our interest freshly. Among these attempts, the immunity research and development of educational industrial complex is continuing to produce their competitive research result. Our medical field challenges the immunity treatment without side effect through bold investment and continuous research. The program Amjung Mosek will identify such change of our medical field in detail. Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute, located in Daedok Research Complex, is the only domestic atomic energy synthetic expert institution in which the development of new medicines is promoting actively. Here is progressing the scientific research on cancer treatment based on the up-to-date advanced technological power. Dr. Jo Sung-gi is the very person who has led such research in radiation food biotechnology research team. In order to solve the question, how can we prevent the side effect according to the cancer treatment? He has continued to execute from the component analysis of many natural crude medicines to animal treatment during the previous 5 years. As generally radiation or anti-cancer medicine is used in order to cure the cancer, their side effects are that the immunity modulation system cells are damaged and the regeneration tissues are damaged. For example, as such a side effect, their hair falls out, or they feel nausea, or they have their difficulty in taking a meal. So our research team started our research in order to develop such materials as can protect the normal tissue and promote the recovery by using the food materials without toxicity. During the recent 5 years, through various researches, we have compounded Panetosa japonica, Miabe et Takeda, Lingestium, Officinale Kitak, and Angelica gigas Nakai, and have separated the effective component from their extract and have recomposed the effective components so that we could develop the new complex composite. This new complex composite contains the effect of promoting immunity and hematogenesis and anti-cancer effect, and the effect of protecting the normal tissue against the radiation. I will explain this effect in detail by using the figures. First, in case of the effect which radiation exerts on cells, if radiation is shot on the normal cells, you can see in the figure that the cells are damaged so that DNA is cut and flows through. Then, if the material which our research laboratory developed is treated, you can see that the damage of DNA decreases to this extent. You can see that this figure shows the cross-sectional view of the small intestine. So, if only radiation is shot, you can see that the regenerating tissue die considerably. But if first the product which we developed is injected and then radiation is shot, you can see that the regenerating tissue survive considerably. This is the result of the experiment which we executed in order to test the effect of protecting the hematogenetic stem cells. If radiation is injected, you can see that the hematopoietic stem cells survive and regenerate. In comparison with that, if our developed material is injected, you can see that the hematopoietic stem cells survive much more. According to the result, you can see that the hematopoietic stem cells propagate to this extent. The animal experiment result that we can enhance the anti-cancer effect through the activation of immunity function has already been derived. By using indigenous natural crude medicine, including Angelica Jaiga's Nakai, the new natural crude complex, which was differentiated from the previous Oriental prescription, was created.
We developed the complex composite, which has the effect of controlling cancer cells. I will explain such effect in detail by seeing the figure.
If the cancer cells are transplanted to mice, the mice come to die gradually. Thus, in 20 days, all the mice come to die. But this time, if this complex composite is injected, you can see that the mice can survive longer so. If I explain the principle in brief, the principle is that this complex composite enhances the activation of cancer cell, which can kill the cancer cell. In this figure, you can see that the activation of a P cell is enhanced to this extent. Here, you can see that the cancer-killing power of a macrophage is enhanced to this extent. As you can see now, this complex composite can enhance the activation of immune cells and so control the cancer cells and then eventually have the anti-cancer effect. This performance combines the biotechnology and radiation technology and is expected to be shown as the new commodity. Owing to the cooperation with the venture company, the successful result can be attained in the relatively short time. This technology is forming the market of 120 billion won in our country and is forming the market of 9,000 billion won all over the world. In order to develop this technology, we have invested several billion won for 5 years, and in order to realize commodification, we have executed the preparatory period of 3 years. If this technology achieves the commodification, it can enlarge not only each overseas market, but also the functional food market of high value added more and more. According to the common opinion, as it is more necessary to develop the new materials through the continuous educational industrial complex in order to activate the development of biotechnology industry, such new technology research should be spreaded. It is the best system that firms devote themselves to the sale of product, whereas research institutions devote themselves to basic research. Even though we developed the product, we could not accomplish its commodification, whereas even if firms had their capability for accomplishing the commodification, they could not find their good products. We can solve this demerit through educational industrial consortium. We should derive the better treatment effect from the complementing the contemporary medical science. As the expert research institution, the venture companies and the university research teams should create the new technology from the center of flow. It is more necessary to deploy the cancer treatment without its side effect through the immunity research. The remarkable natural cosmetic manufacturing technology was developed. This technology is 1,000 times as effective as the previous cosmetics. This technology extracts the materials with excellent beauty effect from green tea and persimmon leaf. With this technology, immediately we can acquire the import and substitute effect of $100 million. Although the natural plant resources, including green tea, persimmon leaves, licorice root, and mulberry leaves, prevented aging and had their excellent whitening effect, it is impossible to refine the cosmetic component. Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute and a venture company solved jointly this problem with radiation. That is, by shooting radiation to the chemical compound extracted from natural resources and so transforming the structure of the chemical compound, they succeeded in eliminating the largest obstacles, including the unnecessary colors, impure materials, and odors. This technology can not only increase such effect, but also refine the cosmetic components by the high purity degree of 100%. The another core of this technology was to reduce the natural chemical compound to the average size of 33 nanometer, less than 1/3 of skin cell interval by nanotechnology, and so enable the natural chemical compound to permeate the skin, and then prolong the duration of makeup by 100 times. The rate of previous natural chemical compound is 500 times as high as that of previous natural cosmetics, so that we can use their excellent functions easily. Through this new technology development, our country can occupy our advantageous position in the natural chemical compound market of several thousand billion won every year. The scale of natural chemical compound used for cosmetics is $10 billion every year. If we enter the full-scale production next year, we expect not only the import substitute effect of $10 million per year, but also the enormous export effect. Until now, some products have been advertised as the pure vegetable cosmetics, but strictly speaking, only a part of vegetable raw material were added to those products. Then, through the technology which Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute developed for the first time in the world, we can add the extract from natural material, including green tea or persimmon leaves, to cosmetics in large quantity. Although in the common plant of our neighborhood, including green tea and persimmon leaves, encourage root and mulberry leaves, there were whitening and moisturizing effects. Their utilization was limited due to their colors and odors. This is the common persimmon leaf. If this leaf is dipped in alcohol, it becomes a black liquid like this. The core of this technology is to make this liquid transparent. Radiation Food Biotechnology Research Team, Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute, shot the gamma ray emitted by cobalt-60 to this liquid, and so succeeded in eliminating the unnecessary components, including colors, odors, and residual agricultural chemicals, without changing raw materials. This technology is to refine the impure materials extracted from various natural plants by transforming their chemical structure. According to this technology, this institute developed the mock-up with Korea Korma Company Limited, the cosmetic expert manufacturing firm. Korea Korma applied the technology of multi-encapsulating this natural chemical compound to the size of from 5 to 30 nanometer, and so enhanced the effect of sociological activation and absorption. According to the clinical experiment research in dermatology hospital during several months, no side effect occurred. The previous vegetable cosmetics could not increase the vegetables in diluted solution by more than 0.01%, whereas the development of this technology can increase the vegetable in diluted solution by more than 0.5% with the increasing effect of 100 times. If this technology is commercialized, it will have the import substitute effect of 130 billion won per year, and the considerable export competitiveness in the world market scale of 1,300 billion won. The new nature-friendly cosmetic materials using radiation were developed by the domestic research team for the first time in the world. This is the new natural cosmetic materials which were developed by the Dr. Byung Woo's team of Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute. By using radiation, we can maintain various effective components of natural plant, including green tea and persimmon leaves, but eliminating colors, so that we can utilize the raw materials of cosmetics, food, and medicines. So, in the past, various vegetable resources had excellent sociological function, including the effect of preventing plaque and aging. They are difficult to utilize as cosmetics owing to their colors and their side effects. This technology is to refine materials with a high purity degree by using radiation, and so ultra-minimize, that is, nanomize the refined materials, and then multi-encapsulate the nanomized materials. This technology was developed for the first time in the world. This technology is to maintain the physiological activation of natural chemical compound and refine the natural chemical compound with the condition of no color, no taste, and no odor without changing the product feature, and solve completely the side effect of artificial chemical compound. If the gamma ray are shot to the green tea extract, which are refined like this, the extract can be used easily. If the natural chemical compound with a high purity degree of 99.9% is transformed into the three-staged multi-capsule, the cosmetic can permeate the skin easily, so that the physiological functions of natural chemical compound can be prolonged in a long time. Especially, the refinement technology of high purity degree can increase the addition rate of natural cosmetics from the previous 0.01% to 0.5%, so that it can increase the effect of functional cosmetics by more than 100 times. The world natural chemical compound market is about $10 billion. As this technology is commercialized as cosmetic, it is expected to have the export effect of more than $100 million per year, and the spillover effect on the overall industry, including the new material development. Although there are many cosmetics and food with natural component, owing to the technological limit, a little effect occurs. Then, recently, the technology, which can increase the natural component content by 500 times, was developed by the domestic research team.
Recently, in the cosmetic market, the functional products for the wrinkle improvement and whitening effect are popular. Though mostly the natural vegetable components are contained, owing to the technological factor, only the minimum is contained, and so its effect is tiny. However, the new technology, which overcame this obstacle, was developed by a company and a research institute jointly. The core of the new technology was to use radiation refinement technology and so maintain the natural components, but then eliminate colors, smells, and taste.
Because the refinement technology does not exist, mostly we import it from Japan and USA. However, rather this developed technology will be exported to Japan and USA.
Also, by using the nanotechnology, this technology covers the multiple capsules to protect the natural components. According to the explanation of the research team, if this refinement technology and ultrafine particle technology are used, the absorption rate of natural component can increase by 500 times. Now the product market using the natural component is $10 billion per year all over the world and is 100 billion won in our country. According to Colmar Korea, which is succeeded in joint development, if this technology is commercialized, it will have the import and export substitute effect of 100 billion won. These research teams plan to enlarge their research for not only cosmetics but also foods and medicines.
The new natural and nature-friendly cosmetic materials using radiation were developed by the domestic research team for the first time in the world and attracting our interest. Especially, this technology is the new technology which combines radiation, nanotechnology, and biotechnology. It will exert a large influence on the world cosmetic market of more than $10 billion per year. Today, the on-the-spot focus will examine the new technology with Dr. Byun Myung-woo of Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute, which developed the new natural cosmetic technology. How are you, doctor?
How are you?
First, the new technology developed this time is the technology of natural cosmetic materials. Please explain this technology easily. The previous chemical compound for cosmetics and food have used their artificial chemical compound, whereas owing to health disorders or side effects, this technology reflects the trend to return to natural chemical compound internationally. So this time we developed a technology which extracted the new natural materials of high purity degree from our domestic plant resources with excellent physiological effect, and then used the new materials for cosmetics, food, and medicine. Is it the natural part? Yes, it is. You explained that these natural materials could be utilized freely for cosmetics. Did the clinical experimental result of their mock-up produce? Yes, they did. The previous product to which various natural materials were added in our country were insufficient in the purity degree, that is the refinement technology, and then the technology to preserve, activate, and maintain the refined technology were insufficient. So the previous technology could not add the natural materials sufficiently, whereas this technology can increase the addition of the natural materials by more than from 5 to 6 times. So the result of clinical experiment in the domestic dermatology hospitals are very excellent. Especially now, because the clinical experiment is executing in preparation for exporting to France and USA, the result will be better. In the process of developing these materials, you use the radiation. Radiation can be dangerous. Was such part be tested? Yes, the test on safety was completed. Generally, radiation is dangerous to general people. However, we think that we'll live with radiation together, because the radiation which we use this time is identical with the ultraviolet rays emitted by sunlight, and microwave and electromagnetic wave emitted by microwave range in home. It is safe. In particular, more than 50% of previous cosmetic products are sanitized by radiation. Ah, they are. This new technology development seems to exert a large influence on the world cosmetic market. How much will the economic effect be? Now, we import the new natural materials of 130 billion won per year from foreign countries. Thus, except the import substitute effect of 130 billion won, it will have the export effect of from 2 to 3 times as high as the import substitute effect. Especially now, we can dominate internationally the technology to refine the new materials from the natural materials and maintain the refined effect in a long time. If this is developed, it is most important to commercialize this technology. Which plan do you have about it? The cost of commercialization decreased by more than about 1 per 500 in comparison with the previous method of refining the natural materials. Next, because we hold our investigating facilities, the commercialization will be soon in early next year. Next, the American major cosmetic firms, including Coty and Estrogen, will visit us on September 17 this year. If they visit us in relation to technology, the commercialization will be accomplished soon from next year. I hope that this new technology with its large economic effect can achieve the good result. Thank you for coming directly today. Up to now, we identified the new natural cosmetic materials which was developed by our country for the first time in the world with Dr. Byung Myung Woo of Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute.